Well, of course, we're now standing in the San Angelo Coliseum, and last August, this building actually celebrated its golden anniversary, 50 years, which when you think about this building having been built 50 years ago, it's really remarkable that the community had the foresight to build something like this for the community back that long ago. The fixed seating that you see all around the area here, you can seat 5,000 people in the fixed seating. We can get approximately another 1,500 or so seats on the floor, and we do that whenever we have concerts and some other particular events. So most people are familiar with this building as the home of the San Angelo Rodeo, which of course that's sort of our signature event in this building. But what a lot of people don't realize about this building is that we also serve private events. People are accustomed to coming here for ice shows and for circuses and for concerts, some trade shows, boat shows. But after I took this job nearly 2 years ago, the very first event that I came in here was a quinceañera. And I thought, how in the world are they going to have a quinceañera in the Coliseum? And it's really remarkable the versatility of this building and the transformation that this building can undergo, because what we do is right here on the railing of the first row of the seats, we put up a large pipe and drape so it sort of blocks the view of all the seating area. And then we turn the lights down low and create a little mood lighting in here, if you will. And of course with quinceañeras, they are generally lavishly decorated, and so everything on the floor was very lavishly decorated. And I walked in and I could not believe it, because I'd never seen the Coliseum in that way before. I'd always seen it with dirt on the floor or with circus rings or something. And so this Coliseum is not just for those large events. We will do parties and weddings and quinceañeras and any sort of private event. We're open to hosting here. If someone wants to rent the Coliseum or any of the facilities that we have in Civic Events, it's really a pretty simple process. You just call our offices. The number is 653-9577, and we'll walk you through the steps of renting one of our facilities. It requires a down payment. We require everyone to sign a contract for the rental of our buildings. Depending upon the nature of your event, we may require that you also hire some off-duty police officers to provide security. We require that everyone have insurance, and that insurance can be purchased through the city's risk management department if you don't happen to have an insurance certificate of your own. Generally the cost is very reasonable, and again the cost will depend upon the nature and the size of the event. And so that's pretty much it in a nutshell. We also have on our website, which is the Civic Events link on the city's website, sanangelotexas.us, we have a frequently asked questions link on there. So you can go there, and if you have questions about sort of how you go about renting our facilities, that's another good way to get information. Our rate structures here at the San Angelo Coliseum are really affordable. It starts at $1,000 for a non-commercial, non-ticketed event, which again would be sort of probably a private event, perhaps a church event here. That's $1,000 per day, and then it works its way up to $1,750 per day for a commercial ticketed event versus 10% of the gate. And so that would be more in line with what you would see with your concerts and so forth here in the Coliseum. This venue is starting to see more events all the time. Frankly, when I first took this job, we had big gaps where there weren't events in here. We don't see those sort of gaps now. It's not used every weekend, and frankly, I mean, we would like it to be, because we want this and all of our facilities to be used as much as possible. But I would say at a minimum, half the weekends each year, there's some event going on here in the Coliseum. Some are large, some are small, some are public, some are private. One of my favorite events in this venue is the fly-in, the model airplane fly-in. And this whole floor is opened up, and there are scores of model airplane enthusiasts who are controlling their remote-controlled model airplanes, and they're flying all around the arena, all the way up to the roof, and they're zigging and zagging everywhere. they'll have balloons tethered to the floor, and they fly at the balloons to see if they can pop the balloons. They're doing loop-de-loops and all sorts of tricks. And the first year that we had that here, I had to drag my 8-year-old daughter to come with me. She did not want to come. And by the time, after about 2 hours here, I had to drag her out because she didn't want to leave. It's really it's a free event, and it's very charming. And that sort of shows the versatility of this facility. One of the interesting things about the rodeo, it is by far the biggest event. It is by far the most complex event that the Coliseum hosts, and it is by far the easiest events for Civic Events, our division, to manage. And that's really a credit to the San Angelo Stock Show and Rodeo, because they are the ones who come in here and do all of the setup. It does require that we put about 3 feet worth of dirt on the floor, and that takes a long time. After that process is over with, we have to go through and wipe down every seat in the arena, because it's like a giant dust storm has occurred in this facility. And so from that aspect, you know, it becomes a little tedious doing little things like that, but otherwise it is a pretty smooth running event. And again, it's a credit to the Stock Show Association and their army of volunteers, because each of those folks has a job. They're very committed to doing that job. They know exactly what to do, and they do it with precision. The San Angelo Coliseum also serves as our emergency operations shelter. You will recall a few years ago when this arena floor was set up with hundreds of cots in order to accommodate victims of Hurricanes Katrina and Hurricane Rita. We also, obviously, last year hosted the FLDS mothers and children from El Dorado in here for a couple of weeks. And so this is the official emergency operations shelter for the city, and in the past it has served that purpose very well. Everyone knows that part of the half-cent sales tax that were approved by the voters in 2004, a portion of that came to do improvements out at the Coliseum, and some of the improvements are cosmetic inside. Some of them are safety features, some railings to prevent people from leaning too far over the railing on our west end, and some cages up on our spotlight towers to ensure safety of the people who climb up there in order to operate the spotlights. Part of the improvements were dedicated to a sound system. We're still tweaking that system to an extent. You can hear right now, if you listen closely enough, the echoes that's echoing off the ceiling, off the floor, and sort of back and forth. And so we hired a sound engineer to come in, design a cluster of speakers where they can be arranged throughout the building to ensure that that we have what he says will be concert quality sound in this building. No concert will use it because they always bring their own sound, but for events like the rodeo and some of the other events that we host, that'll be a big improvement as far as they are concerned. And eventually we hope to return the sound baffles to the ceiling, which also again help dampen the echoes. Our sound engineer tells us that round dome stadiums from an acoustic standpoint are the worst design that you can possibly have for a building when it comes to sound. But there are things that we're doing in order to improve the quality of the experience of our customers. Our rates are all inclusive. We don't charge anything extra for the use of tables and chairs on the floor, sound system, any of those sort of things that you might see in other venues. So what we've done in working with the council is tried to create a rate structure that is affordable and all-inclusive, so that the facility is available for the public's use, doesn't cost them an arm and a leg, and is all-inclusive, so that the customer's not paying a low rental rate and then getting nickeled and dimed with all the extraneous expenses.